All right, you might be wondering why it is that Planiversity decides to branch out from just being a travel planning service to becoming a travel and event planning service. You're probably thinking, what's the point, Eric? You guys are specializing in travel planning. How do you possibly branch out into this new field? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to explain why it is that we are ideally doing the right thing. Though still technically considered a startup, Planiversity has been advancing quickly over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, trying to build the perfect travel planning and organization website. Now, I don't feel like we've always necessarily gotten things right, but I can tell you that we have been building and fixing and pivoting, and you name it, we've been changing things. I'm Eric Allen, founder of Planiversity, and this is the Plan of Audio podcast. And I'm going to talk to you today about why it is that we found ourselves ideally in the position to move into the event planning space. Now, I know what you're thinking. Event planning is a pretty big field. To plan a trip, to plan your travel, it's a pretty simple thing, right? You just kind of pull together the information, you go online, you buy the plane ticket, you buy the train ticket, you buy the rental car, the hotel, whatever, you book all those things, and then you have the confirmation sitting in your email. You know what days you're going, you have a general idea of what it is that you want to do, and then boom, you're off taking your trip. Well, sometimes people want to be a little more detail oriented than that, and that is where Planiversity comes in. What we do is we'll take the details of your trip, your confirmations, your schedule, your notes, your desire for the locations of places like certain resources, like, where the parking garage is at, where the museums, the parks, why do I have to do all this research myself? Can you tell me where the embassy is? Where's the nearest hospital, police station, etc.? We provide that information. We give you the tools to build plans at your destination. We allow you to consolidate all of your documentation. And then in the end, what we do is we pull all of that information together into one document, one PDF document, one file, one location for everything, which is perfect, right? And that is ideal for travel planning because a lot of times, what do we end up doing? We sift through our emails. We're looking for the email confirmation, or we have to download a bunch of apps. Well, Planiversity does have an application, but it's nothing that anyone needs to actually download, because what you could actually do is if you went onto the website, you pulled your travel plan together, you could actually just email that to yourself, pull it up in your email. You could save it to a file on your phone. Honestly, you don't even need the application. The application is just to make things a little bit easier. But if you're already facing storage shortages on your phone, there's no reason why you would actually need the app right now. As long as you can download a packet that you've planned online, you're saving space right there. And you've just shown that you're a very detail-oriented person by pulling together all of that information and organizing it, right? That's what we do. So you think, why would you branch off from the travel planning industry into event planning? Well, we're not leaving behind the travel planning. As a matter of fact, we're speeding forward with that. And now we're taking the event stuff, which we should have been focusing on a long time ago, if you ask me, and we're pulling it rapidly forward to keep up with the travel planning functions. And I'll tell you why it's important. One, you think about events, right? Why are events never going right, or why are they sometimes not going right? And the truth is, an event falls apart when it doesn't have structure. Essentially, what I'm saying is an event falls apart when you don't have a plan. Now, I'm not talking about large-scale events. I wouldn't expect that somebody's going to come on Planiversity, the simple software. They're going to pull together all this information for an event to have a wedding. A wedding is a pretty significant thing. And if you're an event planner and you're planning a huge conference or you're planning a wedding, you probably want to be a little bit more detail-oriented. Of course, we're going to give you the tools to do a lot of it and to consolidate all of that information. But what you typically find in the event planning field is people are very, very either advanced in planning, and they're the type of person that you're going to pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars to pull your event together, to manage every little aspect of it. That's not what we're talking about. Of course, we're going to connect you to those types of professionals in the future. But what we do is for those smaller scale events, for the birthday parties, for the tailgate parties, for the get-togethers, the frat parties, the sorority parties, the speaking event, the reading event, you name it. There's a ton of different events that you can actually plan for that we're giving you the tools to do. And what we're doing is we're giving you the tools to build that structure, to build that plan so that your event can go off without a hitch. All right. And we did that by targeting a lot of the same areas that we target travel planning, because honestly, we find it to be very similar. Okay. And when I say similar, I'm talking about targeting locations, resources around locations, directions, schedules, notes, documentation, all these things, additional plans on top of that. And once you get that together, you consolidate it all into this one file, which is what we do, right? So come to think of it, travel and events, not so different after all, right? And some of the reasons why that we decided to break into this, beside the fact that it just kind of seemed like an obvious thing to do, is event planning is a very detail-oriented process, which is ideal for what Planiversity was designed to do, right? Now, the name is in the title. The name is in the company name, planning. Planning is what we do. Planning is what we specialize in. We're not a specialized travel planning service. That's what we've been going after, but that's not the whole purpose of Planiversity. The whole purpose is to plan, and that's what we provide tools for. That's what we've been over the years catering our service to accommodate for users, right? We've been building in this and that function. We recently included the option to be able to personalize your packet in the end. So instead of just, generating this generic packet with a Planiversity cover photo on it, now you can go in there and you can say, hey, look, I'm traveling to Rome, Italy this month. Maybe I want a picture of the Colosseum on the front of my packet. Maybe I'm planning a wedding reception or a bachelor party, and I want a picture of the guys on the front, or I want a picture of the venue on the front. Well, now that's something that you can do. It's a very personalized action that leads off a very detail-oriented process, right? It's perfect. That's what I thought when I thought about this whole thing, and I really started getting into the weeds. How can we make Planiversity better? It's not by expanding in the travel field, because honestly, with travel, it's such a broad topic. You can go so many different directions with it. But what I thought about was, how can we make planning better? How can we get better at planning? And the way we get better at planning is to give you more avenues to plan on. So travel and events, those two things, fantastic avenues to travel down, right? That's why we thought the two are very detail oriented. The two would be perfect candidates for our planning service. And that is why we went with it. Number two, events are often paired with travel, right? So a lot of times when people are traveling, they might be traveling to attend an event. That's obviously not always the case, but maybe sometimes they're traveling to attend a wedding. Maybe sometimes they're traveling across state borders to attend a birthday party. Maybe somebody's having the family fly in from out of town to attend a family reunion, in which case a plan would be perfect for them. Just imagine you get on there and you generate your plan, you put in all the information, you got the addresses, you got the directions, you got the schedule, the timeline, you got notes. Don't forget to bring this. Don't forget to leave that back. You've got all that information, copies of any kind of documentation they might need, and then boom, you're kicking that out to those 20 family members and keeping it so simple. Travel and events go together. They just go together. And I can personally tell you that I've traveled a lot of times just to be able to attend an event, right? One of the things that Planiversity, or myself along with Planiversity, is going to be doing is we're going to be featured at a travel conference in both Boston and Los Angeles this coming winter. So that's going to be fantastic. That alone is an example of how I'm traveling to attend an event, right? And when you think about it, a lot of people, I don't even know what percentage percentage it would be, but a lot of people do actually travel to attend something, or to visit someone or for a purpose other than just going there to view, to see, to experience. That's why I love to travel, but that's not always the reason why I travel. All right. And reason number 3 is because planners are planners. It's kind of going back to what I said in the beginning. Planners are planners, right? In the end, somebody who likes to be very detail oriented about their travel planning is going to be the same type of person who likes to be detail oriented about pulling together an event. I have a hard time believing that the person who's being very selective about pulling together all that information to attend or to go on a trip to London is going to be the complete opposite when it comes to throwing a party for their spouse or for their child, something like this. I don't see them as being two different entities. In fact, I see them as being very much in the same field. So planners are planners in the end. This is what makes Planiversity an ideal service to be able to grab onto both of these fields. We are able to tackle two key topics, two very, very relevant topics that are relevant in a lot of people's lives, events and travel. That's something that a lot of people experience, and they do it often. In fact, I don't even see people traveling as much as they do attending events of some kind. So for me, it was just a no-brainer. And honestly, going forward, I hope that Planiversity is able to actually branch into even more fields. But I can tell you right now, that is the reason why we decided to expand the service. So I hope you get online. I hope you take a look. I play around with the service all the time, and it is awesome. And the fact that you can now actually go in and personalize it by putting your own cover photo on it. Soon you're going to have the option to be able to put your company logo on it if you want. It's awesome. There is no service like Planiversity out there. Make no mistake. There are travel services, there are travel applications, but I guarantee it, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, like Planiversity that exists. So check it out. Hope you like it. Let us know what you think. As always, it's plans@planiversity.com. Safe travels, safe event planning, and we'll talk to you again soon.